What's going on, guys? JayeDeBlack here. Salute to everyone that's tuning in. I want to talk about this story that's going viral. You have a side chick, a jump off, by the name of Paige Shivers. Now, Paige did an interview with Good Morning America, and she did this interview to speak about being a side chick to a married man, Sherrone Moore. This is the heifer that got Sherrone Moore fired. Now, she's doing this interview because she got let go from her job at Michigan. Because even by her own words, she didn't want to go to the university to tell them about the relationship because she feared for her job. Not for her safety. She felt she did not want to lose her job. So this is why I think that the narcissism from these heifers, the fact that this woman was in a relationship with a married man and she thinks that's okay. She thinks that's okay for her to have been in a relationship with a married man, and she thinks that she's going to get sympathy. She's getting cooked all over social media. You look at the comments, she's getting roasted. She's not getting, now there might be some people that feel bad for her, but how can you feel bad for a woman who was dealing with a married man who was a football coach at the University of Michigan? She knew what she was doing was wrong, but she wants to put all the blame on him like all these heifers do. They put all the blame on the men. You are a grown woman. You are a white woman in America. You are in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I don't care what job Sherrone Moore has. As a white woman in America, you mean to tell me that they're going to side with him over you? Do you see how quick Michigan fired him? When you went to Michigan, Paige, and I'm talking to you, when you went to Michigan, they fired him immediately. Do you want to know why, Paige? Because they have been trying to fire him since his first season. They did not want to make him the head coach, but they had no choice. Jim Harbaugh just up and left right after they won a national championship. He was an interim coach for them. He was an ascending coach in the coaching rankings. That's why they made him the head coach. Like, okay, well, I mean, he was a part of the winning formula. Why don't we make him the head coach, right? So after that first season, I think they started to have regrets, and they have been looking to fire him since that first season, but he beat Ohio State. That bought him another year. And y'all saw how he didn't get fired until he lost to Ohio State. And this heifer was doing this interview acting like the University of Michigan didn't want to do anything. First of all, why were you going to the University of Michigan anyway? If you are in fear for your safety, you go to the police. She didn't go to the police. She went to the school because she was hurt. She was in her feels. He made promises to her. I believe, and this is my opinion, I believe that she wanted Sherrone Moore to leave his wife, and he didn't. And that's why she broke things off with him. Because these heifers always want to be number one. She wanted to replace his wife. He didn't do it. She's in her feels. She's angry. But again, she wasn't in fear of her safety. She was in fear for her job. But she still ended up getting fired from Michigan anyway. And now she's throwing them under the bus too because they fired her. Like, what do you think was going to happen? You thought you was going to keep your job after what happened with Sherrone Moore? They can't trust you. So they're getting you out of there too. And by the way, I believe she was replaced by another woman. But let's get into this. As a matter of fact, hopefully I don't have no issues with any type of, if I have any copyright issues, I'm gonna have to cut this out. But let's play this clip here. And by the way, they are showing her absolutely no mercy in the comment section.
Did you fear for your life?
She accused former Michigan head coach Sherrone Moore of breaking into her home and threatening her with knives. Now, Paige Shiver speaks out.
Yeah, this is something I didn't think I'd have to talk about, to be honest.
You think you should have gone to jail?
Tomorrow.
Did you tell anyone at the University of Michigan about this relationship?
On Good Morning America.
Did you fear for your life?
And by the way, some of those charges were dropped, by the way. Now, he did take a plea deal. Maybe that's what angered her because he didn't go to jail. He was never going to jail. Never. But some of those charges were thrown out because I think the judge didn't believe a lot of those things happened. I think the judge believed that he was more of a threat to himself than to Paige. But let's get to what Paige had to say in this article. So according to People, Paige has claimed her relationship with Sherrone Moore was an open secret within the University of Michigan Athletic Department during a new interview. See, she's throwing them under the bus because they fired her. Now, they tried to make it seem like it was mutual, but it was never mutual. She wanted to stay there. Paige alleges she faced emotional manipulation and job insecurity while working as Moore's executive assistant. By the way, the reason why she was in fear for her job, he gave her a huge raise. She wanted to continue to make that money. It's all transactional. She wanted to continue to make the money that she was making because he gave her a raise. Moore was fired in 2025 after Paige reported their relationship. As soon as she reported the relationship, he was out of there. They were looking for any reason to get rid of him. Paige is speaking out in a new interview against her former employer, the University of Michigan. See, she's speaking out against the university because they fired her. It was not mutual. She wanted to stay and they told her, no, you can't stay here. The 32-year-old former assistant to the former University of Michigan head coach Sherrone Moore had an inappropriate relationship with Moore for years before ultimately reporting him to university in December 2025, leading them to terminate him. Why, again, if she was in such fear for her safety, why didn't she go to the police? She went to the school because she was in her feelings because he wasn't leaving his wife. And he's still with his wife, by the way. I know she seeds at the fact that he's still with his wife. However, speaking out in a new interview with ABC News, Lindsay Davis, which aired on Good Morning America on April 24th, Paige called the relationship an open secret at the UM Athletic Department, claiming that multiple members of the staff knew about it. She failed to disclose the relationship during an interview with the university's Human Resource Department, telling ABC News that she didn't trust the process and felt Moore would be protected. They knew things that he was doing to her, and no one did anything about it because they cared more about winning football games, not having another scandal, and trying to protect the head coach, she said. She's acting like Sherrone Moore was there like as the head coach for 10 years. He was the head coach for like 2 years. And after the first season, they were still trying to get rid of him. They wanted him gone. They had been investigating him before she's leaving that part out. They were investigating him even before she went and spoke to him. They were already trying to get him out of there. They were looking for any type of dirt they can. What is she talking about? They were looking to get rid of him. Paige began working as an intern in 2022 and at the same time began a consensual relationship with Moore, who was married with kids. When Moore was promoted to the university's head coaching position in 2024, Paige became an executive assistant. So she immediately began this relationship with him when he was an assistant. By the way, he was an assistant. He wasn't the head coach. He was an assistant. She knowingly got into a relationship with a married man while he was an assistant. And she's crying in an interview. What are you crying about? You are 32 years old. You were not naive and young and dumb. You knew exactly what you were doing. You knew exactly what you were doing. And she wants to put all the blame on Sherrone Moore. Again, I've criticized Sherrone Moore. Go look at my previous videos on Sherrone Moore. I said his football career is very much so cooked right now. But there's always an opportunity for him to get another job because he is a good assistant. He was a good assistant under Jim Harbaugh. I don't know about head coach, but he was a good assistant. He was able to recruit good players while there. She said the role in their relationship often led to her helping to manage Moore's erratic emotions. Paige told ABC she was often told to calm him down when he was upset and did so because she felt she had no job security. No one cared about my feelings, she claimed. They wanted to use me to help them so they could get through the season. He and other coaches had control over my career, especially him. I mean, he could fire me in a second. She added, people knew, but no one was doing anything about it. And she's crying the cry. Look at that. There's no tears. Y'all, look, there's no tears there. Y'all see tears? I don't see any tears here. What are you wiping away? There's no tears here. Crocodile tears. But the rabbit hole gets deeper. In May of 2022, Paige says she became pregnant by Moore, only to discover that due to complications from pump disease, she had to terminate the pregnancy. Multiple doctors and experts told her that it wouldn't be right or healthy for her to keep the baby. Paige tearfully shared, saying that she wanted to keep the baby. Of course you did, because you thought you were going to be in a relationship with him. You thought he was going to leave his wife to be with you. That's what you thought. But he never. Listen, we've seen this story a million times. When the man don't want to leave his wife, the side chick always does desperate things, and they'll expose him or they'll become stalkerish. Those are the behaviors of a side chick. You were a side chick. He was always going to keep you as a side chick. You were never going to replace his wife. She had an abortion in July of that year with the support of Moore. He said, you have to do what's right for your body, she recalled. Ultimately, Paige reported Moore to university in December 2025, and he was fired from his role as head coach the same day. Look at this, y'all. The same day. Does that look like a university that had his back? Did that look like a university that was choosing winning over anything else? They took her side and they fired him the same day. That looks to me like a school that was looking to get rid of him before you even said anything. They knew about the relationship, but they wanted to hear it from you first. They wanted you to get on the record with them about the relationship so they could finally get rid of him. The University of Michigan terminated Sherrone Moore promptly upon discovering his undisclosed workplace relationship with a direct report. Paul Corliss, the Assistant Vice President of Public Affairs and Internal Communications, told People in a statement on Friday, April 24th, his conduct violated university policy, and we expect more from our leaders. The University of Michigan is committed to ensuring a professional and respectful workplace for all members of its community. That same day, Moore was arrested after Paige alleged that he had driven to her home and threatened self-harm. Now, again, he threatened self-harm. He didn't threaten her. He didn't threaten her. And that's why the judge threw out some of those charges. Now, again, he did plead to, I think, 2 charges, 2 misdemeanors. But some of these other charges were ultimately thrown out in the plea deal because they knew that he was not a danger to her. He went there because he knew she got him fired. That's why he went there. That's why he went there. He's 6'4" and he comes in with his hood up, looking down at her, saying that she had ruined his life, crying, and he starts coming at her and she tells him to leave. Paige said, he's not supposed to be here. He's not listening to her. And then he starts grabbing butter knives. Look at this. Y'all see this trope? 6'5". He comes in with his hood up. That's very descriptive. Like, what do you say? He came in like some thug and he was going to do harm to you? Is that what you are alluding to here? Moore ultimately pled no contest to 2 misdemeanors and was sentenced to 18 months probation after the judge says it didn't believe incarceration was appropriate. And though he warned that all bets are off if Moore violates the probation terms, people previously had reported, he was fined $1,000. I don't think it reflects that he did. I don't think it reflects what he did to me, Paige told ABC of Moore's probation. He took no accountability. I think he did. He pled guilty to it. He had to take accountability or he wouldn't have got that plea deal. I think for everything he did, he took accountability for it. The only person not taking accountability is her. Not one mention of how she messed up and she shouldn't have gotten into a relationship with him. Everything you see in this article is about her being the victim, right? Moore's attorney Ellen Michaels told ABC News Sherrone Moore has closed this chapter in a statement. That's good, because this heifer needs to move on. Now she's going to get cooked. She's going to become content to a lot of people, and she's getting absolutely no sympathy from anybody. You made a choice. You're a 32-year-old woman. You made a choice to get into a relationship with a married man who was never leaving his wife for you. That's where it comes from. He was never leaving his wife for you. And I think you had the abortion. I think that did damage to her psychologically. The fact that she said she wanted the child because she wanted to have his child. She wanted to be his wife. And when that did not happen, you know what this heifer did? She went and told the University of Michigan because she wanted him fired. She wanted him punished. This black man did not do what he was supposed to do for her, and she made sure that he got embarrassed and fired. If she was in such danger, she claimed all this harassment. Why didn't you go to the police? Why didn't you make a police report? You didn't make a police report because there was no harassment. You were hurt because of the abortion and because he did not want to be with you. He wanted to be with his wife. And here we are. So let me know in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts, like the video, share. Follow me on all my social media platforms, and I will see you all next week.